Hello. So, as you might have guessed, I'm talking about Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? And this, well, as you might guess from the cover and the author and the Hugo Award and whatnot, yes, it's a book. It's not a movie. It's not any movie. There are quite a few of them, but it's not a movie. It's a book about a post-apocalyptic world, which at the time was actually only around taking place in the 1990s or the 2000s, which is kind of creepy when you think about it. I mean, we've gotten past that. And the book itself was revolutionary in that it pretty much, it very nearly invented the post-apocalyptic universe, which just revolutionized science fiction as a whole. Like, so many books that I love wouldn't be here today if it weren't for Philip K. Dick coming up with this book. So I have him to thank for that. But in any case, this is American Studies. We aren't worrying about literary evolution. So this book follows, mostly, the life of a policeman, well, quote-unquote policeman slash bounty hunter slash peacekeeper slash emotionally imbalanced, messed up average Joe, Deckard, who is tasked with hunting down androids, which have become so lifelike over the years that they take on a semblance of humanity and attempt to live normal lives. And that can't really be had, partially because they're scary strong, but partially just because humanity doesn't like androids. In particular here, I believe there's an official statement somewhere in the book that we built them to be our slaves, so they should stay that way. And as you can guess, there's a fair bit of controversy in the book just about what it means to be an android, what it means to be a person, really that's the crux of the book psychologically, symbolically, is what it means to be a person. And well, in this book they use androids, but really at the time it was written, it's entirely paralleling racial equality and the civil rights movement, where, well, not entirely, because I mean, the whites didn't build the black race from the ground up, but the idea of just that you have a newly established type of people with their own skills that they can bring to the table that want equal representation in whatever areas of the world they can find, and they're getting hunted for it. That is pretty much the civil rights movement in a bag, other than hunted is a bad word if I want to make that into a word-for-word metaphor, but you know what I mean. And the other thing that this book represents, I feel as though the plot kind of gets in the way of the base representations of the book, because the book is largely a world more so than it is a characterization of anybody. So I feel as though the story itself is more to add background to the world. So I'm just going to focus on the rest of the world from here on out, this last 90 seconds. And the other major thing that's happening in this book is that we are in a post-apocalyptic universe. It's set in one of the only inhabitable places left on Earth. Companies are providing androids as incentives to get people to move to Mars, just because Earth is that bad. You wouldn't be able to tell from the cover of the book, but all those sheep back there, they're probably synthetically created. Actual animals really don't exist anymore. I think we see one of them in the book, or we hear about one of them, and then it dies of hepatitis. No, not hepatitis, tetanus. So yeah, there's genetic mutations and damage to humans all over the place. Most animals are dead. Ohio is a desert, just completely. It's just a desert filled with radioactive sand. So every time there's a northerly wind coming through California, where the book is set, everybody's scared that it's going to blow radioactive sand in and just kill everybody. So yeah, it's not a nice world, and it's explicitly stated that it became this way after a world, I believe they call it the World War Terminus, which is just a really fancy sci-fi way of saying the next World War, because this is written in the 1960s, and it's just that the whole fear of the world getting destroyed in a single blow is now a reality. sorry, my computer shut off for a second. So, yeah, it's very explicitly stating if we don't do something, the world is going to end up pretty much a cinder. It's going to be rent a cinder, if you'll pardon the very terrible pun. But this book just, other than revolutionizing the science fiction genre and creating so many books and inspiring so many books and movies I love today, I'm amazed I haven't brought up how the movie changes everything yet. But in any case, ignoring the literary ramifications of this book, it is a parallel and a commentary on the major issues of the 1960s. If you mix the Vietnam War with the Cold War, which you can. But then I believe this was written a touch before the Cold War. Scratch that. I believe this was written a touch before the Vietnam War. So, thank you for listening. Sorry I went over the time limit.